Welcome back from that break, and it's good to know you have rejoined us again on the program. Good morning, Abuja, showing right now and right here only on the Unity Station NTA Channel 5. And to continue on our conversation segment, I'm bringing to you my second conversation, of course, and we're going to be discussing how families should cope with the current financial pressure. And I have a life and business coach with me here in the studio. Help me welcome Dr. Aisha Adabiriku to the program. Dr. Aisha, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. We know the reality is on ground right now when we talk about financial pressure.
Yes.
Things are hard. So to start with, because of the topic we have before us this morning, take us through what financial pressure is all about.
So what we have currently in Nigeria as a result of the increase in fuel price, that affects transportation. So people transport to work, and then you have transportation of goods, and also when people go home to do home services or even go to their places of work to offer services. So all of this have dovetailed into rising cost of goods and services. Now, financial pressure is a situation where there is pressure on finance as a result of all of these factors that I have just mentioned, and it is felt by everybody now in Nigeria.
It is felt by everybody right now, like you talk. Now, let's take it down to the family level. Talk to us, what are some of the practical strategies that family can implement to effectively manage their financial pressure?
So when we talk about the family unit, we have the mother, we have the father, and then we have the children. So I know in most homes in Nigeria, the father is the major breadwinner. So if the at this, in this critical situation, the mother, if she has any means of income, can, contribute to support the family. Now, what can we do beyond this? In the family unit, everyone should enhance their financial education by reading books and maybe watching YouTube videos on how they can leverage, to increase their sources of income and also cut down on extra expenses that they can actually, do without affecting the essentials when it comes to the essentials like education, feeding, and all of that. So now, number one, families should increase their knowledge on finance. I'll recommend some books which they can read to increase their knowledge on finance. We have The Smart Money Woman by Aresa. It's a very good book that has a lot of strategies on how you can actually, leverage your strengths to earn more and also manage your income and avoid frivolities.
Now, I think the book should be recommended for everybody.
Yes, it's for everybody. It's told in a story form, but it has segments at the end where the lessons, the money lessons are shared and discussed, and it's a very interesting read.
Okay, and now that we are really discussing about family level, because it is the family that transcends into the society, and if we get it right at the family level, at least we'll be able to manage a lot of things out there. Now, how can parents talk to their children about financial situation in age-appropriate manner? How should parents talk to their children, at least to help cope, to help manage the situation that we already have?
Okay, so like in some instances, we may need to change the schools of, these children to one that has good quality, but the school fees or school expenses are less for the parents. This is one of the recommendations. And if possible, change accommodations to something more affordable. So we will need to discuss this as a family and take everyone along. One of the fun ways of actually distilling this down to the children in age-appropriate way is by sharing stories. Stories, when we're growing up, they tell us stories about the tortoise, about the hare, so these are stories that speaks like this fast to the unconscious mind that individuals of any age, they're more likely to grasp the essence of the story. Yes, so one of the best fun ways is through stories.
So, okay, this will now take me to my next question, talking about stories, because stories will make us to really understand the realities on ground.
Yes.
Because when you tell someone a story, you can link it to what is happening. Now, you are a life coach. You have a lot of experiences. You have a lot of success stories. Before you share one with us, where in terms of how to cope with this situation we call financial pressure.
Okay, so I had a client recently, and he was facing financial pressure in the family because of cost of rent and also the cost of school fees for the children. So the school fees for the children was running into, for each child, was about ₦1 million.
Wow.
So when he came to me, we had to look at the schools in his immediate vicinity that he could actually change his children to. And we went online to check feedback from parents who had patronized the schools so that he could change. So we actually got one that he was okay with. So from 1 million for each child, now he has a school that he can conveniently pay about 350 for each child. So
Wow.
he's saving 750,000 naira per child.
Wow.
Yes. So we have lots and lots of these success stories, and this is just one of them.
Okay, that is a very interesting one, because the times are really, really hard, and we just have to conform with the realities on ground. When it's not there, it is not there. Yes. And you cannot go outside of it to get what is not yours.
Yes.
Now let's continue. What role does mental and emotional well-being play in managing financial stress?
So for us as coaches, one of the benefits we bring to clients is to actually stabilize them when it comes to their mental health. So when this client came to me, he had high BP.
Wow.
He was already
problems.
He was having sleepless nights. He was thinking, where is the solution? But when he actually thought, okay, why don't I see a life coach? So the investment he did was minute compared to the savings he was able to get out of the session in the end. So when we talk about mental health, it is your ability to be able to face stresses in life. WHO defines it as the ability to face stresses in life and to manage the stress, and your ability to live your best life and also be beneficial to those around you. So you see, at the description of this client, he was almost not being resourceful. He was in a state where he was almost losing his physical and mental health. He was not sleeping well, he was not eating well, he was not, he was having high BP. And I tell you, he has checked his BP since, he took this decision.
And it's normal.
And it's back normal.
Now, life coach, you are doing a lot. Talk to us about some coping strategies that family can use to stay resilient, irrespective of anything that comes.
Okay, so there is a training we do. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. So we have some tools that we said that there are no all-resourceful people, only all-resourceful states of mind. So each moment in our life, we have resources around us that we can leverage. Like, for instance, look at this particular client. He could actually change the school of the children, and he could still get quality education for the children to the standard he desired, at a lesser cost than what he was used to paying. And he needed to actually look for ways he could do that. We went online, researched, checked feedback from other parents on the social media pages of the schools, and we're actually also able to go into the school and speak to some of the students, to some of the parents during one of the events. And from the feedback, the parents got, and I also did my own independent research. He was able to. So at each point in our life, to stay resilient, we need, number one, to leverage knowledge. You see what we did? We actually researched, and we got real information for him to take decisions based on this real information. And number two, Another thing is to leverage your strengths. What strengths do you have that you can monetize? Do you have, a sort of knowledge maybe that you're not currently monetizing?
Okay.
Could you leverage this to bring in more income? And so these are some of the things that you can do. Leverage your resources, leverage your knowledge, leverage your strengths that you're not currently monetizing, and then be grateful and also give charity, because from psychological research, it is good to actually share what you have, no matter how little it is, because by that you're grateful. There are people who have less than you do, and this enhances your mental health and spiritual well-being.
Well, I want to take that as our advice because you have said it all. Thank you so much for this time that you came around and giving us this wonderful information on what to do not to fall into depression, because the times are really hard. We do really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
And have a nice day.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, we have been speaking on how families should cope with the current financial pressure. And Dr. Aisha Adaviruku has talked to us a lot. Leverage on your strength. That is my takeaway and take-home message today. Please leverage on your strength. Now we're going to go on this break. When we come back, the program continues. Stay with us, please.